Neiman, Brian Wilson, Mary Catherine Ham, today's newsmakers, and you, the Morning Majority. 105.9 FM, AM 630, WMAL.
8:37 on the Morning Majority. Wilson, Neiman, and Clark in for Ham. Good to have you here, Tori.
Thank you, sir.
We are joined on the phone now by Congressman Morgan Griffith, who serves the 9th Congressional District in the state of Virginia. He's also on the Energy Committee up on Capitol Hill on the House side. And today, there's going to be going to be a barn burner of a hearing, because the House Republicans are going to delve into this issue of what really happened with Solyndra. They've been given a bunch of documents by the DOE and by the administration, probably not as many as they want, but they've been going through them, and they have a few questions for Energy Secretary Chu. Congressman, good to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be with you this morning.
What do you think is going to be the uptick of this hearing today? I mean, having seen, the evidence, seen the documents, what line of questioning are you going to pursue?
Well, I'm going to be asking a lot of questions about the subordination. I believe that the subordination was illegal, and I want to know what the Secretary knew, what he was being told. Did he know that OMB and Treasury were raising questions about its legality? What did his legal team tell him? Why did they not pay attention? We found some interesting new things. There's apparently a memo from outside counsel that there was a draft started, but then there's never a final decision. Did they tell them they were going to give them the answer they didn't want to hear? How much did the Secretary know? And I think that's going to be interesting. But there are so many questions and so many different lines that are going to be asked today about so many different areas that it's going to be interesting to see, how the news media covers it, because you could go in about 4 or 5 different directions very easily.
One hears that the Secretary of Energy is going to sort of double down and defend the program that supported these solar energy companies, because he makes the case that, the Chinese do it.
Well, the program may be okay. That doesn't excuse incompetence in violation of the laws of the United States of America. That's the problem, is that they lent money to some companies, particularly Solyndra, that they probably shouldn't have lent money to, and then they came in and subordinated $75 million of taxpayers' dollars in violation of the law.
Explain that. I don't understand that term and how you're using it. Explain what you mean by that.
Sure. What happened was that when Solyndra went into default and was in trouble last December, a year ago, the Department of Energy decided to take the taxpayers and put them into second place.
Yes, okay, I got you.
Right.
Behind other creditors. Well, the law says that the money from the United States taxpayers is not to be subordinate to any other funds.
Was that a decision made by Energy or by Treasury?
That was a decision made by Energy. Treasury was sending them emails saying, we hear you're talking about doing this. You better check with Justice. We don't see any authority for it.
Right. And was it ultimately okayed by Justice, or did the Energy just say,
No, Energy apparently, now that's one of the questions for today, but Energy apparently just went ahead and did it on their own without checking with Justice.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable. It is.
Congressman, thank you for joining us this morning. I've got to believe you're so busy. It's great for you to take the time to talk with us. And just even this brief conversation we've had, to your point, this can go in so many different directions. You've got to believe there will be additional hearings. But let me play devil's advocate for a minute here. Mm-hmm. Clearly, lots of big campaign contributors to the Obama campaign have been with these businesses who have gotten seemingly significant, huge loans from the administration. Is this something, new and unique with this administration, or have we seen this going on for years?
It's hard for me to say, being a first-termer, whether it's been going on for years or not, but I would have to say that it shouldn't have been going on.
Right.
Now, you're always going to have people involved in issues in Washington who also are involved in campaigns. So you can't divorce it completely. That being said, it does appear to be a little bit higher level. But I don't think that we should focus just on that. That's a side story. The main story is, why were they giving away taxpayers' money without having real belief that it would pay off in the long run for the taxpayers? And why were they violating the law to put taxpayers in second place? I think those are the two big issues. And all the rest of this is very interesting and makes for great daytime drama. Mm-hmm. But those are the issues I think as congressmen we have to bore in on, is why was the law violated? And why did you ignore all the other people in the administration who were telling you were violating the law?
We're talking with Morgan Griffith, who is a congressman from Virginia, 9th Congressional District, represents Salem and parts of Roanoke. Congressman, There is a political element, obviously, to it. Is it true? Can you confirm that what the Post reported the other day, that the Energy Department was pushing Solyndra not to have these layoffs that they needed until after the midterm elections last year?
I think that's probably accurate. I mean, I personally believe that was part of the reason for the subordination too, was to delay the shutdown of the company in hopes that they could get it into a time when it would be easy to say, "Oh, that's just political posturing," and they weren't able to do that because there was actually they subordinated $75 million, but there was a plan to subordinate another $75 million to put another $75 million of taxpayer dollars behind the investors for August, which would have gotten them well into 2012. That failed because the investors said, we're not willing to do that anymore.
Do you think that came from Secretary Chu, or was it higher up?
That's a question we're going to be finding out, hopefully, some answers on today. I know that they're setting Secretary Chu up to be the fall guy, but the evidence looks like that there were lots of communications with various people in the White House.
All right, I got to ask you very quickly, the super committee doing its super secret work behind closed doors is apparently, there's some talk that Republicans have offered up a plan that would increase revenues, and that they've come over to House Republicans and sort of laid the groundwork of, you guys need to be behind this. What can you tell me about that, and would you support a package that did increase revenues?
Well, certainly I would have to take a look at whatever package finally comes out. My position has been to wait and see what the final package actually is before I make any decisions on it. I do not favor tax increases, but if we're making the system fair and it balances things out, I have to take a look at the actual plan that comes over when we finally get something.
If we get something, I guess is the question.
If we get something,
yeah.
Exactly. But it's hard to comment on a plan when you haven't seen the actual details.
Fair enough. Congressman Morgan Griffith, Republican for Virginia's 9th Congressional District, will be at that big hearing today with Secretary Chu. Thanks for joining us here on the Morning Majority. Come
Thanks
again.
to be with you.
All right.